Angular has two ways to pass data into a component. The add-input decorator, which you probably know well, and the signal input function which was introduced in Angular 17. They both work well, but they are not equal, and the difference will change you how you think about component design. In this video, I'll show you the real differences using an actual component from a real Angular project. So let's start. This is a clean modern add-input component, and this is a perfectly valid Angular code. But look at those two specific things, because this is where the signal input tells a different story. The assertion symbol is noise, OnChanges is the boilerplate, and the biggest issue, add-input properties are invisible to the signal systems. Computed and effects cannot react to them natively. To react when post changes, you need to implement OnChanges interfaces, add OnChanges method, receives simple change object, access properties by string name, that is changes and post, and then read the current value. Now these are very lengthy steps to what an input change event. Now look at this code. No assertion, TypeScript knows this is required because input required returns a type that Angular's compiler understands natively. Clean, no line to TypeScript. Now the exclamation mark here is the type is fully inferred. Input.required returns a required input signal. Angular's compiler and TypeScript both know this must be provided. No manual assertion needed. The entire OnChanges block is replaced by one computed. When is highlighted changes, badge label updates automatically. No lifecycle hooks, no interfaces, no string based property name. And this is the biggest shift. An input property is just a property. Any code inside a component can reassign it. Signal inputs is read only by design. The parent passes it, the component reads it. That contract is enforced by the type system. So the required inputs, both the cases works. That's not the differentiator. The real differences are these three: signals, ecosystem access, read-only enforcement, and OnChanges becoming completely unnecessary. If your app uses signals for state, inputs written with add-input sit outside that system. You can't feed them into computed, you can't watch them with effects. You end up writing bridge code to connect two worlds. Now both APIs support transforms, coercing incoming values before the component sees them. But the syntax tells a different story about readability. Now look at this transform case, same result, but in the signal inputs, the name, the type, the default, and the transform all in one declaration. Only one place to read, one place to change. Now this is especially useful when binding route params directly as a component inputs. There are always strings from the router. This coerces them to numbers before your component ever touches them. Remember, add input is not deprecated, it won't break, but the moment you are building with signals, computed effects, link signals, add input becomes second-class citizens in your component. The signal inputs isn't just a cleaner syntax, it's how Angular's signal systems expects external data to arrive. If this clears something up, like the video and subscribe to Frontend Forge, and stay tuned where we'll see the difference between add output and the signal output telling the same story. See you in the next one.